Hey gang, so today's a new sponsor. It's Rage 3D, and they have sent through the Tron 2.0 3D printed slider. I gotta tell you, this thing is the most customizable 3D slider I have ever tried, and we'll find out why in a minute. So it is currently on the Etsy shop for $80 for the premium kit, and trust me, you want the premium kit. Once you see everything that comes with it, you don't want anything else. You want the premium kit. Just trust me, go for the premium kit. So let's get me to stop talking. Let's get me to stop talking. That's ridiculous grammar. How about I shut up and we have a look at the Tron 2.0. Let's go. Okay, so here's the Tron 2.0. Now, I have had this for about a week now, and I have to say, in terms of a 3D slider, this is really, really smooth. This is really well designed, put together, dialed in, great for tricks, and overall, I really, really enjoy it. Like I said, typically when I get something before I review it, I want to sit with it for about a week so that I have time to get used to it and really understand it. And so I feel like I really do understand this one. Now, there are some things I'd like to see addressed, some things that I'd like to see kind of the, room for improvement. But let's start with what you get with the premium pack, because that's what I said right off the bat. You want the premium pack. Now, why do you want the premium pack? Well, let's look at everything we get with the premium pack. So, get regular 3D printed plates. We get hybrid 3D printed plates. Hybrid being that full-size magnets all the way through on the super strong. Hybrids meaning we get bigger on the outside and smaller on the inside. So 6x3s and 5x3s on the 6x3s on the outer corners, 5x3s in the middle. Okay, so it's kind of like, the same concept that like a lot of sliders have this now, like the hybrid plate and stuff. Now, here's the cool part. You also get these copper infused plates. This is the full, and I'm currently using the hybrids. Think, Sean, think. So I'm using the hybrid plates right now, the copper infused. And this is the first time I've ever used copper infused anything. And I really, really like the copper. This really slides well. And you also get a full set of extra magnets. So we will look at the magnets that I currently have inside, but then we also have, these are 8 N35s and they're silver, okay? N35 6x3s. Then we also get N52s, right here, N52 6x3s in black. So these are color coordinated, which is fantastic. And then inside, and this is the configuration I have, is we have 6x3 N45s in gold. And I think I have N35s in there as well. But we're going to open it up and we're going to see, because honestly, I kind of forget. So the other thing that you get, sorry, I should keep this out here. You get magnets plus the magnets that are already inside, and we get dampeners. And the dampeners are just if you want the silent running, right? And then you just pop your dampeners over your magnets, and that's it. Then you get quiet. I have mine nice and crunchy because I love crunchy. There's something interesting too, I find. This might be a little sort of counterintuitive to people, but I find when a 3D printed slider is crunchy, it sounds less like a plastic 3D slider. There's something about the crunchiness to it that adds a quality, and I don't know what it is. It just extra character to it, but it tends to sound less like a plastic piece and more like just a slider in general. I don't know why that is. Maybe that's just me, but I don't like quiet 3D printed sliders. It just kind of reminds me that it's a 3D printed slider. So this is everything you get. I'm going to keep this back. You get it. Oh, and screwdriver. Why do you need a screwdriver, you ask, when there are no screws in here? Well, we're going to find that out in a minute. So, and a pouch. We get a pouch. Comes with a pouch. So I'm going to move this stuff over for now, and we're going to get into the parts I like and the parts that I'd like to see. I mean, there's some things that just can't be addressed. That's just the nature of the design. There's some things, and you know, whatever. Let's get into it. I'm going to move all the magnets. I'm going to move everything out of the way. Okay. So the first thing we have now, this is something I want to address right away. Now, Raymond from Rage 3D. When he sent these over, he initially sent over to a bunch of reviewers an early version. Okay, so we all got the early version, and the early version, fantastic, same premium kit, everything. The issue though was that the inserts, the dampeners, were a little bit too big, or there was something to do with the design, and so the lids weren't closing completely properly, and he wasn't happy with that, so he wanted to change it. So we were all like, great. So he said, just, you know, keep the ones you have, but I'm going to send other ones and please review those instead. So he actually sent out like 2 of these to each person, which is pretty impressive. The first thing that I always notice in a product is the product maker. What kind of a person are they? Do they address issues? Do they just kind of sit on them? Do they not care? Do they go, it's fine, just send it out anyways? And I got to tell you, Raymond, like, and in all honesty, I've only really spoken to the guy since we started this sort of process of all the reviewers, you know, kind of discussing and figuring out how we're going to get things sent to us and stuff. And in talking to him, I see how much work he puts into these. And this guy kind of, like a lot of other, you know, small business people, like he kills himself putting these together. And when there's an issue, he addresses it. So automatically, guy's got my respect. Now, there's something, and I'm going to bring this up now because I don't want to have to talk about it again after. I got really used to using this, and it is solid, like it's a tank in terms of like just nothing really has gone wrong with it. When I got this one, and I'll show you the difference here. Let's see if we can, you hear that? Put up to the microphone. Right? That's this. You don't get that with this other one. And so like there's no movement in this at all. So I messaged Raymond and I said, hey, you know, I'm still going to bring it up, but I'd like to know from you, you know, sort of what's your position on that? And it's because, for one, and we're going to take the plate off in a second, we're going to see like there's a bit of movement in the plate and there's a bit of movement in these pieces, and we'll get to that. And actually, so what Raymond said was the problem is with 3D prints, the tolerance, it's really, really hard to have like a 0 tolerance when you're printing something. Cause again, you're printing with 3D. But he gets as close as he can. And because this has so many removable parts on it, that tolerance is harder and harder to achieve because of everything that goes into it. It's not just a solid body. These are all individual pieces that press fit together. And what he said though was that, you know, he said, please let people know about this and about the issue here. And that if anybody ever experiences this, to let him know and he will address it and he will make it right. So, you know, this is not, sort of like a knock against it, because frankly, if you get it, first of all, some people may not even care, but if you do care, you can reach out to him, and he said to let people know he is more than happy to address it and he will make it right. So let's find out why that, what is it about this that makes that happen? Now, you may have seen other reviews before. There's a bunch of people doing great reviews on this already, but you're looking at mine now. So I'm going to go through all the steps. This is fully customizable. And in fact, we can go through that together. So each piece here, if we see, and this is what the screwdriver is for, by the way, there are no screws in here at all, but each, oh, and there's room for trits, by the way, so you can put tritium tubes here, you know, like on both sides. I'm not really a glow guy. I'm not a tritium guy, but they're cool. If that's something you like, I mean, it's really neat. So what you can do though, is if you notice, each of these pieces has a little groove, and that's what the included screwdriver is for. So you just lift it in and out you go. And all of a sudden you've got interchangeable pieces. So that comes out And we can do that on the other side. Come on, Sean. I just can't do it from the other angle. There we go. Okay. So we've got here. Let's put this out like this. So we have these pieces. We've got this side. Now this, I believe, comes in. Actually, you know what? Let's get the middle mesh out first. This is crazy. Like this whole mesh comes out, and then when you take the mesh out, the other sides come out. So you can actually take this, and if you have a second one, you can pull the same parts off of the second one and start mixing and matching, which is really, really cool. Like, this is what I mean, where I love fidgets that you can make your own. And this is absolutely one that you can make your own. I mean, hell, you can even just use it with nothing on it if you want. It's got really quite good grip in here. So let's put it back together though. Okay, so these are all just kind of press fit. So you can see what I mean though with 3D wise, like these are all being, like these cutouts, these holes are all sort of made. So sometimes it's a little off, but again, these don't pop out or anything. There's just sometimes there's a little bit of like, a little bit of extra room in there. And I'm guessing like micro, whatever spaces, you know what I mean? So this one gets, you have to build it. Now I built it wrong. I think the best way to do it is one side, then middle, and then the other side. There we go. All right. So you see what I mean? Though once it's in, it's pressed in. It's just, there's a little rock on this one that is not on this one. So, and I wanted to show both to show that they're not all like this and that these are kind of an anomaly with this little squeaky rock. That can all be addressed. We're going to get into, here's the issue that I have. There's a couple things. First of all, the way this is put together is, there's no screws, right? So the top snaps on to the plate. So you can see we have the plate, we have this ridge, we have the magnets, and then the top snaps down on it. So the thing that I have a challenge with this whole configuration in general, is it makes it tricky to get the lid off without the magnets flying. So what I have done is started using this little carpenter ruler. And I use this for carving and stuff. But what's great is it's small enough that you can just pop it on. Just like that. And it doesn't get in the way. So what that allows me to do is take the cover off without the magnets flying. In here, like if you watched Fidget Focused, his review of this, when he takes it off, and it's just because just an example of what happens when you take the lid off, there's something inside or underneath it. When Kyle does it, all the magnets kind of snap together, and it's not a big deal to put them back in, but I like keeping everything in place. So again, we have the screwdriver, the provided screwdriver, and it just fits right into this slot. And then you just kind of pop and lift. Get in there. And, okay, see, so it fell off. So this is the issue. Now, I did manage to have it done. I did it with the other one. And I want to get this right. I want to show you guys. But you can see where that happens. Now, the problem, too, is it's because I'm doing this on camera, right? And I have the phone in the way. And there we go. So, see, when you lift the top off, as long as you have a metal ruler underneath it, or something thin and metallic, then you're fine. It's trickier to do this with something thick, but this is the case. And you can see we've got little notches in here, and those little notches stick right here. I don't know. Are we catching that? Are we catching that in focus? Probably not. It's a little too close, but you get the idea. It snaps in here. So there's not much else we need to do with this because you've already seen all the other plates, and these are the gold magnets that I talked about. And these gold magnets are N45s, 6x3s. And then we've got our little silver N35 5x3s in here. And this is the configuration that I like the best. It came all strong. And I like this. I really kind of prefer the, you know, as you'll see, you'd get like the black, where are we here? Like these black magnets are much stronger. So they're N52s. I like the 45s. They're just light enough that it lets this whole thing flow really, really nicely. And this is also, the copper plate, right? So it feels really cool. So here we have our plate, and now we are going to just pop it back on. And then how do you fix the empty plate, you ask? Well, you use the bottom as your guide, and you just kind of go right there. Now, this is another something that Kyle mentioned in his review, which I hadn't even really thought of until I started using it. These tracks are great for just sliding your magnets along. Right? So you just kind of take and slide. And that's it. So we got that. Pop this back on. And that's it. Now, there is one thing though I do want to talk about that. Okay, sorry. So the first part is the press fit plate. This is really nice in terms of like ease without a screwdriver, but it's gonna be as somebody who maybe wants to take it apart a lot and configure, this might start to kind of wear on you a bit, because when you pop it open, you have to put something under it or your magnets are going to go flying. So that's the only issue. For people that are constantly opening their sliders, this might annoy you. I don't know how often this can hold up to this kind of bending and prying. It seems pretty strong though. So that sounded weird. It seems pretty strong. So I'm guessing, you know, I'm guessing that it's actually, it can withstand a lot. Now, the last thing I want to talk about though with these, and this is the one thing that that bothers me a little bit, are these grooves. So we have these, I would call them, or I would think they're kind of like push grooves. The issue is they're only on offset sides. And I'm guessing to make space for the tritium tubes. My thing is, if I'm using my right hand, this thumb never uses these grooves. My thumb doesn't, my ring finger on here kind of does, so that sort of works, but I find it works better for a left hand because your thumb can kind of sit in this groove. So for a left-handed person, that works all right. I think that would be kind of comfortable, but here I'll use dueling Trons. But for your right hand, you're just not using the grooves at all. And so I find that that's kind of, to me, that's it's unfortunate because it's a feature that doesn't really get used. And it's almost like determining or telling me where I'm supposed to push. Like if I'm laddering upwards, like if I'm out, I'm laddering upwards, then yeah, then the groove is there and it kind of works. And what's nice is this little ledge, right? This little ledge gets created here, which you can kind of push off of. So I push out and then I push out like that. And this works well. But if I'm pushing down, which is typically or more typical of laddering, then you don't really get to use it, right? Pushing up, oh, if I'm pushing up, it's fine. But pushing down, I don't see it. So that's kind of, I don't know. I don't find that works that great for me. I'd like to see, like, I'd love to see this little groove on both sides. Like, I don't, personally, I don't care about the tritium tubes. To me, I'd much rather see the tubes gone and the grooves on all four sides, because what else is really nice about this design is this little hump in the middle, right? So we've got this nice little ridge here. So when you push, your thumb can push in. So it's a nice grip. So I think form factor wise, most things work about this. I would just like to see this groove on all four sides. I don't want something telling me how I need to use it. And that's what this is doing right now. Only having these on sort of like offset sides and offset corners this is dictating to me how I am supposed to be fidgeting with it. And now that happens, I'm like focusing and trying to make it work. But, you know, I want to either have no grooves or give me grooves in all the spaces so that I can kind of like decide. I can decide where my thumb goes at any time. But other than that, yeah, I've been playing with this quite a bit. And of course now I'm sending it flying everywhere because I'm talking to you guys about it. And I'm also using the weaker magnets. But I have been using this constantly, and it's great. Now, I should say too, with the dampeners in, it quiets everything down. I'm not going to bother putting them in because it just means it's this without the rattle. I'm not a fan of no rattle. I actually really like having the rattle, the little magnet rattle. I don't know, there's just something about it. There's just a little extra character to it. Okay, gang, that's it. That is the Tron 2.0. I would not hesitate to buy one of these. They're great, and the customer service is fantastic, and the creator really, really stands by what he makes and is more than willing to listen to feedback and to make anything right with customers. So that goes a long way with me. So I have no hesitation to recommend these at all. Okay, gang, thanks for watching.